We have this ability called theory of mind.
Theory of mind.
Yeah, being able to grasp that other people,
So, like, other people have their own thoughts and beliefs.
thoughts, beliefs, and desires.
Okay.
And that these might be different from our own.
Yeah, so, like, knowing that my friend loves pizza, but my boss really hates being late.
Exactly. It's like we're building these little mental models of people.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
And that process of building a model of understanding someone can be related to an idea from computer science.
Okay, computer science, never go in there.
Yeah, the idea of compression.
Compression. I don't...
So there's this concept called Kolmogorov complexity.
Kolmogorov complexity.
Yeah, it's a way of measuring the complexity of something
Okay.
by looking at the shortest possible description of it.
Shortest possible description.
Yeah, imagine trying to describe a simple pattern, like a sequence of alternating ones and zeros.
Okay, 1010.
Super easy to do, right?
Yeah, 1010.
But something truly random with no discernible pattern
Okay.
would require a much longer description.
So are you saying that understanding someone who's straightforward is like that simple pattern,
You got it.
and someone complex is like that random jumble of information?
That's a great way to put it. The more predictable someone is,
Uh-huh.
the easier it is to create a mental model of them.
So a compressed understanding of how they tick.
Exactly. But the more unpredictable and complex someone is,
Yeah.
the harder that becomes.
So that means there are some people we just can't ever fully understand.
Well, not necessarily. But it's important to recognize that our brains have limits.
Okay.
It's like trying to run a really complex program
Yeah.
on a computer with limited processing power.
Okay.
At some point, it just can't handle it.
So we're all just computers walking around trying to process each other's complexity.
In a way, yes. And just like computers, we have to be efficient with our mental resources.
Efficient with our mental resources.
We can't dedicate all of our brain power to understanding every single person we encounter.
This is blowing my mind. So how do we decide who gets more of our processing power?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. It's like the people we're closest to,
Yep.
the people we interact with most often, the ones whose behavior we're most invested in understanding,
Yeah.
those are the ones we tend to create more complex models for.
So our close friends and family.
Exactly. We spend time with them,
Yeah.
observe their reactions, we learn their quirks and nuances. It's like building a detailed,
Okay.
multidimensional model that allows us to anticipate their behavior
Right.
and empathize with their feelings in a deeper way.
That makes me think about, like, when you can just practically read your best friend's mind.
Mm.
You know how they're going to react before they even say anything.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That feeling of deep connection and understanding, that comes from really getting someone.
Totally.
But of course, there's a flip side to this whole compression idea.
Well, there's a flip side.
There is.
Okay, what is it?
Well, it has to do with those simplified models we were talking about.
Okay, the simple ones?
Yeah, the ones we use for people we don't know as well.
Right, judging a book by its cover.
Precisely. When we encounter someone new,
Yeah.
we don't have the luxury of all that data and experience.
Right.
So our brains try to find shortcuts
Okay,
to create a compressed understanding based on limited information.
so we fill in the blanks.
Exactly.
Right.
And sometimes those shortcuts lead us to make assumptions or judgments that may not be entirely accurate.
Yeah, and we might be missing a whole lot of nuance.
You got it. And this is where things can get tricky,
Okay.
because those initial impressions can be surprisingly sticky.
Sticky.
Even when we get to know someone better, our brains might hold on to those early compressed models,
Oh, wow.
influencing how we perceive and interact with them.
So how do we stop oversimplifying?
Well, I think the first step is awareness.
Okay.
Just recognizing that we all do this,
Yeah.
that our brains are wired for compression,
Uh-huh.
can help us be more mindful of those initial judgments.
So taking a pause before jumping to conclusions.
Exactly. And then the next step is curiosity.
Oh.
Instead of settling for that initial compressed model,
Yeah.
we can actively seek out more information,
Our information.
ask questions,
Okay.
listen attentively,
Gotcha.
be open to the possibility that our first impressions might be wrong.
So like being a detective,
I love that analogy.
gathering clues.
Piecing together a more complete picture of who someone really is.
Yeah. This is making me think about how we see ourselves too.
Okay, how so?
Do we create compressed models of our own identities?
That's a fascinating question, and I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Really?
We tell ourselves stories about who we are,
Yeah.
what we're good at,
Uh-huh.
what our limitations are.
Right.
These stories can be helpful in creating a sense of self, but They can also become limiting if we cling to them too tightly.
Oh, so we can get stuck.
Yeah, stuck in a loop, playing the same mental program over and over again.
But what if we could rewrite that program?
What if we could?
What if we could challenge those limiting beliefs?
That's the exciting part.
It is.
By becoming aware of these mental models, these self-imposed limitations,
Yeah.
we can start to question them.
Okay.
We can challenge those old stories and start writing new ones
News stories.
that are more aligned with our true potential.
This whole conversation is making me realize just how powerful our minds are.
It is quite amazing.
We can create and shape
and compress
and expand our understanding.
of ourselves and the world around us.
And that power comes with responsibility, right?
It does. A responsibility to use our minds wisely, to be mindful of our biases,
Yeah.
and to approach each other with curiosity and compassion.
Absolutely.